Hello once again, my chickadees. Game & Chick is back again, and this time bringing you an early preview for an upcoming title. Before we fully dive into this preview, I want to thank the staff over at Ubisoft for inviting me to take an early look at Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown on PC. In my time with the game, I was able to play nearly 4 hours of content, feel how the mechanics worked, get the general idea of the storyline and its characters, and get a feel of how the game will function upon its release in January. As someone who's been skeptical of the game after its initial reveal, I was able to see if my early thoughts would hold up or change. It's a case of the angels and devils sitting on your shoulder, with one telling you, "The game sucks. You know it does because side-scrollers are for babies." And then the other telling you, "Heavens bless thee. Thou shalt play a game upon which its throne has set, and he shall be bathed in light." What the heck does that even mean? You're both annoying. Go away! Weird people on your shoulder aside, these are my thoughts on what I played and what people overall can expect come the release date. So let's go! If you've been busy staring at your calendars or clocks like a cat waiting to hit someone on the head like a jerk, then you will have noticed that it's been around a decade since we last received a Prince of Persia game in any form, with the remake of Prince of Persia 2, The Shadow and the Flame, being the title that we last received. Now here in 2023 with a fresh new game on the horizon and aiming to give a nostalgic nod to the old days of Prince of Persia by returning the series to its 2D origins, a la its 1989 counterpart. Oh yeah, long before I was an annoying and screeching little kid, these games have been churned out left and right. Here in The Lost Crown, you play as the warrior Sargon, who possesses time-manipulating abilities that are usable to traverse through the array of traps and unforgiving terrain in this top-to-bottom immersive Metroidvania. But hold on, is it just me, or has there been quite an increase in the Metroidvania styles lately? I mean, most of them have been pretty damn awesome, leaving me feeling like Oliver Twist with my "Please sir, may I have some more?" But dang, they must be making some big old bucks for these companies, and I'm all for it. Even though the game embraces the 2D roots of its past, it definitely has changed it up a bit by actually making it a Metroidvania in the first place, since its previous iterations weren't like that at all. In Lost Crown, while you explore its deep and labyrinth map levels that take you through desert coliseums to fight gigantic poison-stinging scorpions, eerie dungeons, dodging hazardous blades while getting your timing perfect, etc., you will be able to integrate and utilize new abilities that are both similar and also feel unique to the traditional way you play a Metroidvania title, all of which help you get an edge in hack-and-slash beat-em-up style of combat that has you partake in intricate sword fights that make you think of how to attack a specific design of enemy. For example, some enemies that are normal baddies, you can spam your attack button to beat their butts into next week and giving them a good slashing combo, while other shield branding enemies you will either attack perfectly to parry their slashes to initiate an opening by stunning them or going into a quick kill cinematic. All of which said abilities described are able to be increased in proficiency the further you collect amulets by completing puzzles of the map or finding secret and hidden entrances that you can discover by going off the beaten path. Exploration is definitely a key factor to the level of growth of your character and the overall fun for this title, at least from what I got to play early on. It's basically the video game form of walking through a grocery store and looking down every aisle until you spot your mom and dad, only with unlockable items and upgrades here, and not being told you can't buy that $8 figure you saw in the toy section because you already have one at home. As previously stated in my opening of this preview, I was able to play roughly 4 hours of the game, but I actually ended up finishing all the content that they wanted me to get through before my allotted time was up. I felt pretty dang good too, because at times it was like I was instinctively trying to speedrun it without actually trying to, because of my previous gaming past of being a speedrunner, so it's like a second nature at this point. I felt like Babe, you know, the "Ba-ram you" pig from the movies, when my demoist told me, "Okay, we're all done, you managed to complete everything they wanted you to get through." And my first thought was, "That'll do, pig, that'll do." It's not as easy as I'm making it out though. There's definitely some bosses that I ran into and other strain-worthy hazards that blocked my progression several times, most of which at the moment I am not at liberty to speak of due to spoilers. Being that Lost Crown is a Metroidvania style of game, you follow the same set of rules, having a map that unlocks further based off of your progression through it and into new areas, and using that map as it loops back upon itself, which gives way for new engaging platforming challenges that get harder in their own complexity, and new routes that offer you different paths to take to uncover more of the mysteries of the area, to test out your own skill level, and a chance to find new upgrades. Pacing of the game in my 4 hours, even with it being a Metroidvania, never really feels slowed down like I've encountered previously with this genre, and instead it feels a tad bit more streamlined with more icon indications, further map indication of areas you've been in, and a genuinely better feel of navigation that makes wanting to explore feel more rewarding and worth it, rather than tedious or cumbersome. which actually surprised me. Although, there are occasions still where you can get lost, like me, trying to find my way up to an area where I'm supposed to go in and thought of every single possibility known to man, only for DemoS to be like, yeah, you can go straight up the chandelier, there's an opening. Oh. Do I feel stupid? Besides the exploration not feeling tedious or boring, and intriguing puzzles, platforming, and combat being fun, I think the real aspect that surprised me the most was just how smooth the game ran. Usually and lately in games like this, for big budget games or even down to indies, there always seems to be a tad bit of input delay on button presses, with some presses not registering at the pace of the game wants you to play with, causing you to die or spend time adjusting to the mechanics, which usually is not fun. However, that's not the case with Lost Crown, with you as the player being able to initiate an attack, slide under their legs, continue a combo, launch them in the air, or even for platforming, double jumping into a speed dash. It all just feels great and extremely fluid. Speaking of combat, which makes up the other large portion of your time in this game alongside platforming, as Sargon, you're equipped with dual blades as you face off against the mythical creatures from folklore, as you get the timing down to parry normal attacks, yellow indicators for stronger attacks, or learn to get the hell out of dodge against non-dodgeable red indicators. Timing a parry right versus stronger attacks will allow you to pull off your inner cinematic anime moment that has you do a quick one-shot kill to your regular enemies, which honestly can get you out of a tight spot, all while at the same time also helping to build up your Athra's Glow, which is a power-up that lets you increase your attacks or get strategic by laying down a self-healing barrier that heals you as long as you stand in it, which is perfect for hard-to-fight boss battles like against Manticore. This same level of strategy holds true with Sargon's temporal abilities that adds further to how you engage with the level and bad guys themselves, with instances like being able to accelerate and speed up your movements and even rewind. Basically, you did a better job than everyone at Blockbuster who didn't listen to the label of Be Kind Rewind. Congratulations, citizen, you are winner. Make sure to do your due diligence and explore, explore, explore. The game's difficulty is also something I'm sure you'll want to know, right? Well, the difficulty of your journey really depends, honestly, on your own personal skill level at these types of games or platformers in general. If you're generally seasoned as a player with titles like this, you won't find much issue getting the hang of it. However, remember when I said that I tried speedrunning? Yeah, it's not really ideal, especially when you run into prison guards who have sensory ranges. These guys I suggest to avoid at all costs unless you're extremely confident in your abilities. Should their sensor pick you up or fall within their range, they will immediately give chase to you through multiple rooms at high speeds. It's freaking scary. Plus, they hit for big damage too, so fighting them makes it even more difficult, especially if you get surrounded by 3 or 4 other enemies on top of the prison guard. It's definitely nerve-wracking for sure, but a lot of fun because it makes you think of ways to stealth across rather than just spend the entire time hacking and slashing, which might get tedious if that's all you did. Having to figure out strategic invasion and at the same time wrestle with map hazards definitely shows the game's overall commitment to new and fun challenges with thinking outside the box, which can bode well for if the same holds up for the full release. Just be careful, don't end up slipping over the mess I made from crapping myself after being startled from the sensory bros. I nearly had a heart attack. Overall, when all is said and done, Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown seems to me like it's going to be a very intriguing game from all aspects surrounding it. With it being an unexpected twist and turn for the franchise by going Metroidvania, it offers the players a fresh coat of paint and introduces a new experience that has solid combat, fluid, strategic, and fast platforming and puzzles, engaging boss fights that make you want to master parrying to negate damage, diverse enemy types that don't feel like cookie-cutter copy and pasted like it's a rehashed roguelite, evolving progress for your character, etc., etc. Will the full game be a great experience? I'm not sure yet. I'm not Miss Cleo with her amazing psychic abilities, but I am very confident so far with what I've been able to play that if the full game holds up to the level of this kind of quality, then Ubisoft might just have a complete success on their hands. But we'll just have to see. Be sure to be on the lookout on all of Ubisoft's socials for further updates on this game so you too can be prepared for Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown when it releases January 18th on Nintendo Switch, PlayStation 4 and 5, Xbox Family Systems, and PC.
Good luck.